Hi Lewis, just finished first week after vacations. Done the review of my reviews. It wasn't the easiest of weeks. I think I made it harder for myself. Done the review of all the trades and things that stick out is probably mentioned most was fear, hesitation, and FOMO. So nothing new here, I would say. And then looking at it a little bit deeper, it explains everything because there was probably only three trades, three tickers that gave what I call my system, and the rest of them was not something that I would regard as my system. It's still like would be like a golden zone rejection, so I'm still looking at those kind of, but not something that I take without much thinking. And between non-setup ones was as well non-system or setup, where the Friday open as well. Two trades which, if I get an opportunity, I'm always looking forward to trading the open, just for the experience. But in general, yeah, it makes sense because only if it's free system trades, so I'm bound to be have a hesitation and because I don't have it fully back tested and fully aware what's and how to trade them basically. So I suppose that explains the fear, hesitation, and FOMO things. The other thing that didn't help me as well, I suppose, on Friday was I did come to the markets with a quite late to the open. I think 10 minutes before open, sat down, got everything started. And I did come with expectations even before I sat down. I was thinking, nice, I'm gonna get a couple trades in at the open, get positions in, set my stops, and let it fade all day basically, like an easy day, and then have the afternoon off. Ended up sitting by the screens until market close. So you never really have expectations and just see what you get. Uh, on the positive side, I would say over the last month and a half, I managed to improve my win rates to around 50%. Previously, it was hovering mostly around like only 30% win rate. So over the last month and a half, I managed to increase it here to like 50%, which is on the positive side. The whole week was didn't trade Monday. Kind of gone back, got back home. I think only Sunday. Had like a cold or a flu or something like this. Wasn't feeling very well. I didn't think I'm gonna trade at all, or at least like later in the week. But Tuesday, I think Tuesday, uh, decided to actually trade. I thought that I saw something from my system, so I had to jump in and try to make a trade. I still felt, as I mentioned, like fear as well, mostly because I wasn't feeling very comfortable. I don't know exactly why is that. Felt like I over the week I like forgot everything and looking at level two and tape, and I thought like, oh, I'm not really fully in tune. So there was a bit of that fear, like whether whether I can actually trade, if that makes sense, whether I'm actually good enough to trade. Uh, yeah, let's have a look at some of those trades. I think that's from the Tuesday. So I think that was the only one that was supposed to be my system trade, which was extended on a day. It was after 1 p.m. But even then, I actually front ran it. As I mentioned it here on the review, I had like levels at 8 and or 820 of interest. So I think even if I would have waited at least above 8, so that this maybe I would have avoided one silly trade. I think I would have been looking somewhere around here, so maybe I would have taken this trade and then probably would have got somewhere here. I don't know exactly. Oh no, that's already after hours. No wait, no, it's not. So yeah, because FOMO'd into this one mainly because it was very very grindy and kind of like low volume, and I thought, oh my god, it's not gonna reach my level. So I front run it with at 790 with the limit order, added on a fake wash, fake breakdown, which I thought I saw on the tape, and then quickly they reclaimed it. Tried to manage my position. This is another thing. I'm not entirely sure if on these maybe like really grindy. I shouldn't be really doing that. That's maybe one of the stupid habits, and I did get into it. I think on Friday as well, into the same habit. So I tried to take half off and take another half off. Add took a half off, and then I saw it still can go easily much higher. It still can go easily higher, but then I thought, okay, it's gonna go higher, so I just took all the position off. And then again, I anticipated I should have entered on the red one, so I should have got entry on here. Didn't cover anything because it was like a small size, and then just kind of froze, let it run. I had to stop higher. I think would have stopped out. Just covered there, thinking like, okay, I'm not gonna waste much more time with it. So that was supposed to be my system trade, which I managed to mess up by front running it. Next on the same day was as well Peggy. This wasn't as well fully a system trade because it wasn't extended enough on a day. I think it was only up 20% or something like this, maybe even less than 20, but it did break the high of day, which I'm looking for. Got the entries. Didn't like this whole choppiness over here. It didn't look like it's gonna be a good setup, and it wasn't extended as well as I mentioned, but it did break high of day. With tape, I took these entries, cover on the first target, and then just covered in the after hours because as well it wasn't looking like it's gonna fail. Following then Wednesday, traded Peggy again. This is nothing to be like my system as well. Nothing seems to be giving me a system trade. So took this in the lower range of golden zone. Didn't get filled at 7. Had the limit order at 7. Didn't get filled. So took liquidity out on this. Covered at the target, held a little bit, but as well didn't want to hold too long into the after hour, so just covered it. Next we have also Wednesday APDN. This was as well like a golden zone trades. This was a little mess up on the time frames. I was looking, I think, on the 3 minute, and it did look like it's still well in a shelf, but only when I switched onto the 1 minute, it looked like just like a bull flag into 9 EMA, and I actually like took the weakness, but it was a small size. Added here, cut for break even into the after hours. Didn't want to have much to do with this. Then this is on, is it Thursday? I believe that was Thursday. This was actually quite a decent trade. I had a limit at 940 at my level somewhere here, but I just cancelled it right as we were getting up to it. Then once we failed that level again, it looked like it's weak on the tape, so I took it at that 940 style position, let it run there. Again, a little bit front ran it. Ideal entry would have been this on this red candle on the retest, but it did work out fairly well. Took covers on my targets. Add after add, recycle average was 950, which was my risk after the add. Maybe took it too soon this, but since it was time of day and everything, so I just covered and done with it. Okay. Next, this was as well not a system trade for me, but it's something when I was talking with the M7, and it was like inspired by him because he says like, okay, because it was something I was looking for, is 15-minute J lines, basically bounces long, and prior day it did have like a bull, consider like a prior day as a big bull flag, and then this day once it reclaimed this, chopped around, reclaimed the 15-minute J lines, did this like did below buyback, and I thought this is gonna be a breakout, so got in with very small size. I was thinking of risking like this. At some point I was risking this. It was like a consolidation day, so it didn't really gather much volume. It still worked out. Covered it well into the after hours. So it was more like a test trade, just a very small size, just to let it go, so to see what it's gonna do. On the same day as well, took this, which was a very nice 1000 EMA on 10 minutes. It was at around, I think, 520 level, if I remember it correctly. So I allowed all this to play out because it was above it. Then once it failed and came back into that level, took a position, small position, then added over here, cover on the targets. Was expecting a little bit bigger, failed to actually like hit 460 somewhere here, didn't give it, so just covered it, let it go, and it actually gave again very nice retest, which would have been a nice, I think, even 1 point trade on a Friday open on this as well, a retest of 1000 10 minutes on the ref. Next, this is the Friday when I came home with expectations of having like a easy day, basically take a few trades on the open, let it fade all day. By 4 o'clock I'm done, basically, well, my time 4 o'clock I'm done, and I can take the Friday off, relax. This was the same thing, started position, small position, but was too early, got faked out, cut there, small position only here because of this bounce above VWAP and J lines. I was thinking, okay, we're gonna curl here and push even more higher. What we did, and of course then a bad entries just to get the size on this thing. Very bad entries. Took some up here, took some profits here, it didn't fail this, it didn't give like a lower low, came back up again, clearly adding on a green candle. Not a great list of things. Trimmed some size, added, trim. This was a very bad add on the lower side. Again, took some profits, so I could start think our trend position. Add, trimmed some, took some profits, at the target. This did push. I was too busy with the IMRA, so did nothing over here, and then just covered. So, as I mentioned, I think from Tuesday trade on what was that, IMUX, I think, where I'm trying to manage my average, and it's kind of beginning to be a habit, I believe. I don't know, a good habit or a bad habit. So with all these, trying to cut the half off and then add higher to drag my average up, which I've ruined over here by being impatient. At least if I would have waited for VWAP or this maybe retest, trend break retest, add them there if I want to be very, very cautious. But yeah, these were very FOMO ads only because I didn't put size on. And then this whole management thing, I did manage to pull my average at quite a decent level. I think it was something 516ish or something, somewhere around here. But that's gonna be visible as well on IMRA when it squeezes past. It's okay, probably it's okay managing it like this once we below perceived risk levels, which would be like, let's say, pre-market high and this area. But when we squeeze past that, it's probably not advisable to try to manage your average. Which brings me to IMRA. It actually wasn't a horrible loss, although it still was a loss on this thing. And it wasn't, I had BRKS, I think, on watch list, on my watch, and for open and lace. Once BRKS failed at the open, after a good, what looks like nearly half an hour maybe, or like 20 minutes, I pulled IMRA, which everyone was talking about, and you, even in the pit, everyone was talking about this. Will it go higher? What will it do? So that's why I didn't even consider this for the open, because I thought like, okay, it definitely can go higher. But somehow managed to actually FOMO into this at some as well stupid level. Didn't even wait. I had this level drawn at 350. I didn't even manage to wait for this with my first add. Only then I added as well, tried to manage position, cut it here, not cut it but like trim half, add more, took some off, add, trim. We'll come to this later. But yeah, I didn't even wait for trend break into the J line, so whatever for perceived JLR that I was thinking I'm taking here, which is not even just bad FOMOing and thinking like I'm gonna miss everything. I think I took this because it did have like quite a decent area of resistance in the pre-market. Over here, I think somewhere from here I started feeling a little bit better in terms of like more confident in the tape and level 2 reading. So that's I took this. This was a little bit. I saw a big stack on the ask, and it was failing it. So I took this, waiting then for a retest. Saw this coming back up, took half position off. It looked like it's gonna fail again, so added and hit this. I covered only half on this because I was looking at that big offer trap being chipped away. I think I can't remember now the number of it, but it may have been maybe 200 or something. I don't want to lie, but it was like a big offer trap in there. Saw it chipping away, so just before it got fully chipped away, I took half off. Then front ran this as well. If I would have waited for 15 minutes to close, I would have been in much better position to actually like looking for an ad. So I add this, add more, cut half off, cut half off, add, and cut again, and then add, and then realize that I'm sitting here from the open and deep into the after hours, so just took my loss and be done with it. Managed on the week. I think on the week managed to close green. I still maintain, I believe, around 50% win, which I'll take it as a positive over the last month and a half. Mm, yeah, I do need to, after reviewing all this week, definitely. I don't want to fully rule out, so not so-called my system trades. I kind of, I still want to participate into like golden zone rejections and maybe a decent uh, try to small size long here and there, as just for like practice purposes. I think as well what contributed to kind of a little bit erratic trading, I would say, was that wasn't I was having like a cold or a flu, so I did skip gym, so it kind of affected my routine a little bit. And being first week after vacation, I did feel a little bit miserable going back to work, so it may have had some effect, but I think that's it. Thanks a lot for this, and catch you Monday.